Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wake Up with Haley, where we rise, shine, and live aligned. These are our discussions early in the mornings with community leaders and some of my dear friends. So, welcome and thank you so much for being here this morning. I have the pleasure of being with my good friend, Jenny Carattini-Wright. Jenny has admirably served in a variety of positions on the Woodlands Art Council since its inception, and she's currently our executive director for the council. So Jenny brings the fine arts to the Woodlands and beyond through the culture and education programs and scholarships through that our festival funds every year. So Miss Jenny, please welcome to the show. Thank you so very much for being here with us this morning, bright and early.
It is early.
It is. I know. Thank you so much. I know
Right.
it's taking time out of your morning, and I'm really grateful for you to be here. Before we jump in, will you just share a few key pieces of your career on our nonprofit, the Woodlands Art Council, and just give us a little bit of background about you before we get into our chat today?
Sure. So I'm a longtime resident of the Woodlands, about 28 years, and have three beautiful kids that grew up here. And uh, I was born and raised overseas, and have a very deep appreciation for art, and never thought in a million years I'd be in the shoes I am today. Definitely educated in hospitality, hotel management, and fell into the arts in 2005, and it's been in my blood ever since. And like you said, a variety of positions through the years, and now very happy to be serving as your executive director, and loving every minute of it.
And what an amazing job you do, Jenny. I know you and I have served on the board together. I've been with you for a couple of years now. And as I watch you do all of the work behind the scenes and then front of stage when we have our events and we host our big Waterway Festival, the work and the dedication that you do just amaze me. So thank you as a community member for all the work that you do, because the arts and the festivals and the different events that I know we're going to talk about today, they add so much to the Woodlands. So you do such a great job. I'm honored to serve with you as well.
I appreciate that so much. I just really love our new board and all of the things, all of the leadership that you bring. We are here today because of you.
We've got a great group. We really do. We've got a really great group. So before we get started, you may have watched the show before and seen that I really like to start out with a piece of gratitude or something good that's going on in our life or our business to just kick us off this morning. So would you share something positive or something you're grateful for before we get rolling?
So one of the things that I love, and this part of the season and cycle of the Arts Council, is the opportunity to reconnect with our teams. And that's what happens through August and September. It's kind of a recruitment, reinvite opportunity. So I'm reconnecting with our teams, and I love that part of what we do. It's bringing everybody together. And so for this time of year, this is the best thing. And I'm very grateful for everybody, because we certainly couldn't do what we do without the people who make it happen.
Each one of them, right? I know
Right.
it's so true. And my piece of gratitude this morning is exactly in alignment with yours. And I think you're right. It's because it's the season. Last week we had a big leadership meeting on my team, and everyone was choosing the different committees that we want to serve on for the upcoming year. And of course, all three on my executive leadership team chose the Woodlands Art Council to be part of one of the different committees for the festival and our art dash show. And it was so much fun watching them really dig in and get excited about the different roles that we're going to play. So I agree. It's the same thing. And I think it reminds us of the purpose of why we do what we do in our community when we bring everyone together and then we get to work on a purpose that serves others. It's really special. So that's great. I love it. It's a great season. So let's get started. We have so much that I want to ask you to share with our listeners today about what you do and the progression of the Woodlands Art Council. Can you just kick us off and tell us, how did you first get involved with the council? Where did that begin?
Well, I was working for an artist, and she was commissioned to do the first public art piece in the very first art festival. And as her assistant, I went to all the logistics meetings and fell in love with it. I was just like, wow, we're bringing culture to the Woodlands. I don't have to go to Houston, bring my kids down to Houston. We're going to do it here. It was time. And so I dove in and volunteered with the organization and through 2011, and then fell into the management end of things. And it's so funny because when new people come in, they're like, oh yeah, we know how to do this. And but it took me at least 5 years to really get the gist of the whole thing.
Oh, and there's so many moving parts. You're right. I mean, it's like managing a small city behind the scenes. It really is.
Pretty much.
I know.
I like to tell people that it's like putting on a wedding for 200 brides.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's such a great analogy. It is such a great analogy.
Yes. So, 200 fine artists, fine craftsmen from all over the United States. It's one of my extra favorite things is getting to know these wonderful individuals and garnering support from our community. It's just become such an iconic event in the Woodlands now. And getting involved on this level now as the executive director has been extremely rewarding. It's just a life dream, and I didn't know it.
Isn't that great when that happens? It means that's exactly where you were meant to go, right? So speaking of the executive director, tell us a little bit about what is your role as the executive director? What exactly do you do behind the scenes when you're managing the wedding for 200 brides?
I think the most
things, right?
I think the most essential ingredient in leadership is listening and hearing what makes people tick. And because we rely on such a large group of volunteers to help us, I need to understand what makes everybody tick because I want them in the right place. I want them to feel rewarded. I want them to feel fulfilled and feel like they've contributed.
Right.
And it's like this big cycle of giving. And what's so impressive about our community is that we do that all the time in everything. I mean, going to several galas and other nonprofits and charities. I mean, we are like amazingly generous community, not only financially, but also, in time and talent. And so when you have a retired Air Force general or, all those wonderful people who are retired with so much talent and they give you their time and they make what you do better. And so I don't know those things until I can hear them and plug them in where they need to go. And so that formula has worked pretty good so far, knock on wood. But as far as making the wheel turn, it is spinning a lot of plates all the time.
Yes.
But definitely keeping my ears open and hearing what our constituents want, hearing what the audience wants, hearing what our sponsors need, and then continuing that cycle of giving through understanding the community enough to know where we can plug in and give back.
Yes, 100%. And you said it perfectly. You do such an amazing job of managing all the different relationships and really putting them where they're going to thrive. And I think it's important too to highlight that every nonprofit on the outside looks as though it's this collaboration of amazing events that serve the community and is obviously raising money to go back into the community for a good cause. And it is also running a business behind the scenes. And you are doing both at the same time. I see the work that goes into all of the financial reports and all of the tracking and all of, putting on a massive citywide festival not only cost a lot of money, but we're also serving a lot of people. And you have just wowed me every time I see you behind the scenes of all the pieces that you manage. And you really, not only do you just keep them together, but you excel at running the business. So Thank you for that. You didn't go into that much detail because you're so humble about all the things that you do, but you really do such a fantastic job. And I know for us on the board, we couldn't do what we do helping you, right? If it weren't for you taking the lead and all of that. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And part of the opportunity of being an executive director of a nonprofit is the ability to work with such amazing leaders. We have a board of 21 people, and each one of you has a different talent that I need, that I don't have. And I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative. And I really, every now and then, look at the nonprofit structure and consider, there are some crazy things going out there, but we have something special going on in ours. And I am so grateful for that.
We really do. I travel around the country and I do a lot of teaching and public speaking for workshops on behalf of the real estate and mortgage industry. And it's so interesting to me because I have yet to arrive in a community. And one of the things that I always ask the groups are, what nonprofits do you support in your community? I think it says a lot about a community and the business owners that are in the community. And there's always one or two answers, of, oh, we do, food bank or, whatever they might really support in their community. But I have yet to come across a community that is as vested and plugged in to caring for their community as the Woodlands. And I don't just say that because I'm from here. I have a lot of experience across the country, and there is just no place like the community of people that we have here. Everyone really steps up to the plate and does such an amazing job of supporting one another. So to that note, tell us how serving in this role of executive director and on the Woodlands Art Council, how does it continue to fulfill you? What are some of the things that keep adding joy and moments of reflection to your life that you go, okay, this is really worth it, and it's why I keep going?
Definitely the friendships I've cultivated. Moments of joy is when I see someone so excited about a piece of art.
Yes.
When I see an artist or hear an artist's story that they share about how they've met somebody in the festival and they share a story, and that is so fulfilling. I'm definitely, I guess it's connecting. It's the putting people together really gives me joy. I mean, even in the volunteer section of the world is like,
Sure.
when I find somebody who has a talent that I know could benefit from somebody who has a talent, that gives me joy at the end of the day. And making people happy. That's that hospitality side of me, igniting the creativity and the opportunities, and I love to brainstorm with people, and so this job gives me that opportunity, and I love learning, and I'm always curious, and I always want to know, how does that work?
Yes.
How did they do that? So I love going to other people's events and experiencing them. I love to travel all over the United States and go to different art shows so we can bring back good ideas for ours and improve ours. I like a little bit of Disney.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. And there's so many great shows across the country. But I know last year, maybe it was the year before, but after we had the festival, you led the download meeting of what went really well and where can we be better, right? And that is such a critical piece, I think, of being a leader and leading such a massive event like this, because there is always room for improvement, of course, in everything we do. But just getting curious about how can we make the experience better? How can we bring one another together? I know that last year was the second year that I chaired the Art Dash. And so I too get to meet all of the artists as they come in. And it was so fun seeing some of the same faces and them going, oh my gosh, you're back. And then watching the joy that they have, because so many of our community come back and visit the same artist. And so it's kind of like this micro community within the community, right?
That's exactly right.
Yes, it was so much fun seeing some of the same people and watching them set up their tents, and then watching the joy of not only the community coming in to view their art, but then when someone would select a piece and take it home, that connection between the artist and the consumer, and just the, the pure joy of them going, oh my gosh, I love this piece, and now I get to take it home and put it in my home or my office, or whatever it might be. It's just so fun. So it makes complete sense that that's a huge piece of what fulfills you, because I got to experience it firsthand, and it was something that made me as a volunteer go, I'm coming back every year. Like, I want to be part of this micro community, right? Like, if I'm serving beer at the tent, which also was super fun last year, I ended up being at the beer tent all day, and everybody was coming in to talk and hang out, and it was such a great time. So
I'm so glad.
that makes sense. And talk a little bit about, last year we did one of the micro grant programs we had at the Woodlands Mall, and that was a portion of the judging for the kids who had done the different art pieces. Talk to us a little bit about the micro grant program, and what does that look like this year?
So we have two programs. We have the David Gottlieb Micro Grant for educators and nonprofits, arts nonprofits. And then we have a micro grant for individual artists. So we just began that program last year, kind of coming out of COVID. We just recalibrated, and the board came together, did a little bit of strategic planning, and we felt really strongly that we could make an impact through this micro grant program. So anywhere from $250 to $5,000. We had, I believe, like 24 applicants last year, and we granted 11 organizations and one artist, our dance troupe, micro grants. And so we've done a little bit of follow-up to understand the impact. Some of it was purchasing equipment. Some of it was fixing kilns. Some of them were specific art projects for students. And we're hoping that some of the teachers apply now for their education so they can go to conference, because we feel like that kind of grant is so useful, because it's something they can do and impact them for the future and all the kids they teach. Right. So the program's growing. We had at the mall our student scholarship program, which we had also put on the back burner during COVID and brought it back. So now every January, at the end of January, we award money to seniors in high school for their higher education. We don't discriminate where they're going to school or what they're studying, because we really feel and believe that art is in everything. And we could not be in this world without art. And so that will go live in December. And so all the schools in Montgomery County participate. And last year, well, I should do just because I'm on the show with you, we've given over $1.3 million to date in scholarships, opportunities for the community, the arts community to grow in the Woodlands.
It's amazing. It's so amazing. And I know I was there, and I actually met some of the students. They were kind of floating around as the judges were, looking at their work, and their work was incredible. I mean, I walked through and looked and was blown away by the true, everything was impeccable. Each piece of their art, and completely different styles of art. But their talent it was just amazing.
It's a reflection of our education, our arts education programs in CISD, and the amazing teachers we have. We definitely need to continue to be supportive of them. And they have so much going on. It's just really amazing. It's to go into the art world of a school and understand where a teacher sometimes sees 400 students a week. Right. And they remember their names. Just blown away.
Yes, it's incredible. To see the connection between the student and the teacher is also so special. These teachers really come alongside students that are going through all sorts of things in their lives. And when we see the impact that not only the educator or the teacher has on them, but then if it is one of the students that is a recipient of one of the scholarships, watching the joy in their face. And, some of these kids may be going to college anyways, and some of them may not. This scholarship may afford them the opportunity to actually have the chance to go. And that impact, I think, it's one of the reasons I know I continue to come back, because watching the joy on their face is irreplaceable. So in all of these programs that you're running behind the scenes and that you're helping build and that you're leading us as the board through, bringing us into our community for impact, how does your role really affect your leadership in your everyday duties? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I meet a lot of people. I have a new assistant. Because of our success, we've been able to hire two wonderful people to help us grow. And so that I'm certainly grateful every single day I wake up now.
Yeah.
And I'm mindful of the things that they need to grow. And we've actually signed up my assistant for continuing education classes in event management, and looking to the future of the organization. When you're in a nonprofit, a lot of executive directors will tell you, we're spinning a lot of plates, and that is true. Every single day I'm thinking about security, and then the next minute I'm thinking scholarships, and then the next minute I'm, so I really have had to be more disciplined about my day. And, definitely have read a lot of books, dialed into, block scheduling. And
yes.
I've had a hard time, turning off the computer or turning off the phone because I'm so reactionary because of not having that help and doing it all myself. And
right.
So I have, been adjusting, and the girls cheer me on when I let them do things.
Good. A little bit of communication goes a long way, right?
Yes. And then, I do have a streak of perfectionism. It's a thing that I recognize in me that my girls kept telling me, Mom, you're being a perfectionist. And I was like, no, I'm not. Do it this way.
I know. It's such a challenge, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, but I've learned a lot, and you've taught me a lot too. And I've really appreciated the time you've spent with me discussing personalities and how to make things right, and what are the good things we want out of this. And that's where we focus. And I think, again, nonprofits go off the rails if they stop thinking about the mission and they don't focus. And so that's my biggest job, is making sure everybody stays focused on what we need to do and get accomplished on a daily basis. So, and that brings us to a wonderful arts festival in April.
I know. And I don't think before I joined the board and really was a part of the Arts Council, did I have any idea of what goes on behind the scenes a year in advance, right? It's right. The planning and all of the work starts so very early. I mean, it starts the second one festival ends. We start the Arts Festival. And it is, I mean, to your point, I believe any strong leader always has a vein of perfectionism. And you and I know, have talked for a lot throughout the years of when we strive for perfectionism, we're striving after something that doesn't actually exist. And so being able to understand that we can strive and have excellence, but maybe not perfectionism, and then leading our teams that way with that sort of mindset becomes a lot more empowering, versus those of us like myself. I am right there with you in that, perfectionism mentality. But it really is, it's about striving for excellence. And I know you and your team that we have now with your two amazing counterparts, that they both are, they're such a joy, and they're so strong at what they do in their support role to you, and also their own skill set of what they add to the table for the festival and for the entire Arts Council. It's such a blessing to have them now, because you have been spinning all the plates by yourself. And, it's kind of like a progression, right? To let go a little bit at a time as you get really strong team in. So I'm really glad that we have them for you. So talk to us a little bit about all the things that the Art Council does and where everybody can support, take part, attend events. I know we have such a long list for the community that I believe sometimes the community doesn't have any idea all the things that the Arts Council does. So just start at the top for us and just rip through everything.
So I shared with you about the microgrants. And
Yes.
so this is the, our cycle of giving is the microgrants, the scholarships. And then we have something called Art Feel, which is actually celebrating its 5th year this year, created by our community member and volunteer, Nicole Bobley. And Art Feel is a free event that we do quarterly. And we usually celebrate public art, a piece of public art, and we bring it to everybody's attention, and we request the community to participate in telling us how the piece of art makes them feel. Mm-hmm. And then we have an event usually in Market Street. We have one coming up November 5th in Hughes Landing. We're very excited about. I'll tell you a little bit about it. We have a dance troupe that won one of our micro grants, and they're going to perform it at that Art Feel. And we're going to ask the audience to tell us how it makes them feel. So, if it's a word, if it's a song, if it's a poem, another dance, who knows? We've been really surprised by our community, by the talent we have. And so it's just a kind of an open mic experience, but it is around telling us how the art makes you feel. So that's kind of a fun thing we do quarterly.
It's one of my favorite events. And it's again, one of those free events that I think our community forgets that we have, unless they're logging on to social or they're on the website, that it's so enjoyable to just share some time with everybody in the park, hanging out under the stars in the evening, as the sun goes down, and watching others perform or sing, or, I know at the different art fields, we've had a couple of different interpretations. But it's just so enjoyable. And I think, and I know you and I have talked about this, but I think we as humans, period, no matter where we live, forget the power of art and what it does to our souls, right? And how it makes us connect. We really do forget. It's very easy to get caught up in the daily hustle and bustle and forget that slowing down for a minute and watching someone else do something that is so enjoyable for them. And then how does that interpretation land on you and how does it make you feel? It's really impactful.
It's just like, I was God's art. Every single day we wake up and we're exposed to nature and the sunrise, the sunset, the amazing cloud formations. Art is in everything. And we have to, I think art helps us know our soul and interprets our society too. What's going on today, it builds our history and our culture. And we have a community that's relatively new. We're not, Pittsburgh or New York or Houston, where we have the history and the built up community of art over, hundreds of years. Right. So we're the lucky ones to be on the ground floor building our community of culture and art. And so one of our programs leading into that is another program is our public art program. So we have been responsible for 24 art benches that are along the waterway and in Hughes Landing, and we've got 2 in the mall area. And we're so excited because this October we will be revealing 6 new art benches. So stay tuned for that. That's we have wonderful underwriters and beautiful designs to add to the collection. So we're super excited about that.
Oh, I know. I can't wait to see the reveal. They're so gorgeous. And they add so much interest as you walk along the waterway, or if you're in Hughes or, wherever you are, just kind of enjoying outdoors. You walk past and you're like, oh, it's so interesting and beautiful. And there's so many different designs. So I'm excited for the new reveal.
Yep. It's going to be great. And so then, of course, we have the Arts Festival.
Yes.
And we'd love to plan something else. I think that's, all about strategic planning and trying to understand what our audience would like to see. it's always challenging. We've got lots of ideas coming our way, but we want to stay true to the Arts Festival as our number one event.
Right.
And so, yeah, those are our programs.
And share with us the dates for the upcoming 2023 Arts Festival.
So we're excited because we're adding Friday back. Yay! So it'll be Friday, April 14th from 1 to 5, and then Saturday the 15th and the 16th, Sunday the 16th. And then, of course, our famous Art Dash Party that Haley was the chair of for 2 years and made it so successful. We're so grateful. That will be Friday night, the 14th.
Yes, and I'm so excited to see what our new team does for the Art Dash, because I have passed the torch and I'll be right there with them serving and volunteering, but I'm letting some others take the lead this year, and they are going to make it also amazing and fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what they add to it for new interest, because they're already working hard on it. So it's such a fun party. And I think when the artists come in, they're so busy unpacking and setting up their booths and getting everything going, but they don't miss that party. They come to the Dash Party because it is such an exciting kickoff. So yeah, it's one of my, it might be my favorite. It might be the event of the season. I don't know. It's definitely on the top of the list.
That's awesome.
So Jenny, before we wrap up today, is there some pieces of advice you would like to give to the listeners and to the community if they want to reach out and really dig in and find out more about the Woodlands Arts Council and how they can be a part and how they can support and how they can attend? Give us a little bit of direction for everybody that might be listening today.
Sure. So we have an amazing website, www.thewoodlands.council.org. And on that website, you can find pretty much up-to-date things that are happening, event schedule. We even have a menu of all the artists from last year. So if you saw an artist and you still want to buy something, you have that opportunity. We're, again, all about supporting the creative economy. We want these fine artists to come back. And so the only way they're going to do that is if they sell art. So yes. We're in that cycle right now of recruiting artists. So if you know any artists that might be interested or have beautiful art, definitely send them to our website.
The application is on there. I know I saw the button, the application for all the artists for the next festival is up and on there.
And people can sign up on our newsletter. We're really good about sending out a monthly newsletter, or of course, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're always trying to keep everybody abreast of what we're doing. And
you guys do an amazing job. You really do. I love our monthly newsletter also. There's always such interesting pieces in there, and it really does keep us connected with whatever's going on in the arts community. Will you touch just a little bit before we wrap up today on the Art Lovers program?
Yes, thank you. So we have a wonderful membership program called the Art Lovers program. And again, you can go to our website and join us there and read more about it. But it's just an opportunity for you to get great tickets to the festival. We include different levels. And so depending on how you want to be involved, we invite you as an art lover to special events and special socials that we do prior to art field events and just field trips.
Yeah. You get secret access to things.
Early access, and
there's all sorts of perks. I know when I became an art lover, I was like, oh, I get so many fun invites. It's really fun. So I wanted to make sure we mentioned that for everybody to be able to log on to our website and learn everything that they can about the Woodlands Arts. And thank you so very much for sharing some time this morning. I know you are full season swing into all planning and maneuvering all the parts for our festival coming up. So thank you for all of your work and your dedication on behalf of me on the board and just as your friend, Jenny, because you're awesome and you have done so much for our community. So I look forward to an exciting next few months as we get rolling on all things Arts Festival. And I'm just grateful for your time this morning. So thank you.
I am so grateful to you, Haley. This has been wonderful, and I really, really appreciate the time. And whew, I was scared in the beginning, but hey.
I know. Well, and I hope today, and the purpose of our show is just to share with the community more things that we might not know about. So thank you everybody for being on with us this morning. Our next episode will be Tuesday, October 4th. And as a reminder, our show is on the first and third Tuesdays at 7:30 a.m. sharp. Rise, shine, and live aligned with us. And thank you for joining. Have a beautiful day.